there's an Alabama chain called
Foosackleys?
Yes, you had it?
I've had it. Yeah, I've had them all, man.
I know. What do you think?
It's okay.
I took my kids, and they're so bougie.
It's okay.
They're like, they wouldn't even touch the chicken.
They wouldn't?
Yeah, I'm like, look, I mean, it's not Cane's, but it's not like you're not eating poop. I mean, come on, guys. They're like, the sauce. I mean, they were being the most critical ever.
They're
loyal.
Mine are always critical. I mean, we can walk into a place and they'll be like, "Is this safe? Is this safe?"
I know. Yeah. So so Carter, we've been to Disney several times. So like a couple years ago, we go to Six Flags. And he's like, "How's this place even open?" I'm like, dude, what are you talking about? Six Flags. I grew up coming here. He's like, this is no Disney.
Yeah.
And he starts like, see, look at that grass. Disney wouldn't have that. He's so critical.
No, man. No.
Oh, yeah, but Disney's like 10 times the price too.
That's
right. Oh, man.
That's right.
That's how they feel about Universal too.
Oh, yeah.
They're like,
Oh, it's not as nice.
Disney would never.
Yeah. And then we were in a ride, in a line, and the ride kept breaking down. He's like, Disney wouldn't do this.
These kids today, they don't know. They don't know how good they have it.
No, they complain about Johnny's Pizza.
What?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, they're like, Johnny's. Just give us a Pizza Hut. Johnny stinks.
They want Pizza Hut.
Yeah, I guess the dough. They said it stinks.
No, Johnny's is amazing. My daughter has totally traded Johnny's for Hunt Brothers, and I just can't believe it. I can't believe it.
Really?
I can't believe it. I'm like, pizza day. Today's pizza day.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, okay, Johnny's right. She goes, no, gas station.
Gas station pizza. They were like, is it fresh? Yeah, we cooked it a week ago.
Yeah. That's so funny.
Yeah.
That's funny. Well, so Carlotta, you're not from here.
No.
So what do you feel about Johnny's Pizza?
Wait a minute. Carlotta, if you just kind of stay right there on
right
that thing.
on it.
Yeah, there you go. Now I'm hearing you good.
Okay.
Because that's what I get. We get hate. I hear the hate from Johnny's from people that didn't grow up here.
Here.
Yeah.
I love Johnny's Pizza. My kids are just weirded out that it's a square.
Yeah.
And they're just like, where's
that.
the triangle? Where's the pizza shape? After they got over that whole deal there, then they love it. We get it all the time.
Well, we make pizzas all the time in the oven at home, and we cut it like Johnny's.
Do you?
Yeah.
See, I never thought about that.
Yeah, because I like that. I like that end piece, that real crispy piece.
See, I go straight for the middle.
That's me too.
Yeah.
That's right in the middle.
Leave room for everybody
That's the last one.
Well, hey, then we need to go to Johnny's together. We make a good team.
I'll go for the middle. You can have
there you go.
But the buffet is so weird that the buffet
is the triangle.
Is the triangle. I wonder why that is. If anybody knows, let us know.
Yeah, maybe we should have Johnny on.
Is he?
I don't know. They're based out of Monroe, right?
Yeah. Is he around?
I don't know.
Is he with us?
I don't know.
I hadn't seen him in a while.
They took his picture off, and now it's a cartoon.
Dude, this chair.
Where's my coffee?
Clint, we need chairs. Would you like some?
Do you have any water?
I can get you a cup of water, but the Bossier water, which we actually need to talk about.
Okay.
It's on our list.
All right,
we're recording right now. Y'all keep talking. I'll go grab water.
Right. So Carlotta, as Leighton steps away, because he knows you much better than I do, tell me who you are, what you do. Give it to me all.
Well, my name is Carlotta Askew-Brown. I am the director of the Bossier City Parish Metropolitan Planning Commission, where we regulate development with regards to zoning, residential, commercial, industrial use. We look at our comprehensive plan to see how Bossier City wants to develop, and we make sure that we are developing that way. We also work with partners, the Bossier Chamber of Commerce, the Economic Development Foundation, to make sure that we're hitting all of our nodes when it comes to development. Thank you.
Yes.
That she said it very fast, but it's a lot.
Let me slow
City
down.
planner.
No, I'm saying it's a lot.
It is a lot. People ask me what I do, and sometimes I can never really hone in on exactly what I do because it's just all encompassing. It's an umbrella of things, and the city wants what they want, the parish wants what they want, and we try to.
I feel like Carlotta's the type of person, if you have a business and they just have so much information in their head, right? That employee, you're like, yeah, this person has to be here because they know like of every area of the business, they have knowledge. Mm-hmm. And it's like not written down.
Yeah,
that's Carlotta. That's her.
We
had the mayor on. Remember we brought up, but you talk to anybody in the Bossier, we're really, I live in Benton, but you also do work with all of Bossier Parish. So Benton, Halton.
We assist with the Benton MPC as well. They are one of the fastest growing areas. And so that growth is kind of a shock. And so what we do is try to help marry what Benton wants, Main Street, small town feel, with the growth that they're experieing. Yeah. So that we help in that aspect. And the horrible
municipal systems in place.
Yeah.
Yeah. Listen, and the flood zones.
what are you talking about?
Yeah. So yeah. But it's probably once a week for me, even just talking to business owners, I'm like, well, you need to reach out to Carlotta.
Yeah.
Even my neighbor.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know if he got in touch with you. He's like, hey man, they won't let me give out. We need to have him on, by the way, Tim. He has a few McDonald's franchises. He's great.
Oh, wow.
He's like, yeah, they won't let me do my driveway. I was like, well, you need to get in touch with Carlotta.
Yeah.
So driveways are interesting.
But you've been doing this a long time.
17 years.
17 years.
Yes.
Yeah. How did you get into this? I mean, how'd you get
So, it's interesting because I'm from Memphis, Tennessee originally. And when I would go, I really didn't know what I wanted to do in college. I got my bachelor's degree in urban and regional planning and real estate and urban development, that's kind of what I'm doing. Mm-hmm. But I used to just see these areas change over time. Like I would go to college and I would come home for the holidays and just see a whole area transformed. I'm like, who made that decision? Like who decided to put that business there? That wasn't a good idea. And then I discovered that there's a whole business or career path towards planning, urban, ex-urban, rural planning that goes along with that. So that's kind of how I got involved in it. And I decided to get my master's from Ball State University in Indiana. I worked in Vegas for a little while, or Henderson, just to learn about different communities and, what their challenges are. It was just a shock to go to Vegas to see where it's very dry. I call it ashy. But, they were paying people to pull up their grass to put down rocks because of the water shortage there. And so you would just see people outside raking their rocks and just trying to put little designs in it. And I was just like, we would never. But it's very unique, all the problems that everyone has. And we have very unique problems with flood zones and things of that nature. So that's how it was a curiosity that got me and how decisions were made, because planning is all about decisions.
Yeah. Well, it's so interesting because, now that I'm sitting here talking to you and thinking about it, it's like, yeah, there's a huge need. And this is such an important part of a community. But you don't really hear like kids like coming up being like, I think I'm going to be in city planning.
Yes. So I have taken a liking to speaking to the Bossier Youth Development that comes. The Chamber of Commerce brings both Bossier Youth Leadership Group to us, and we talk about planning. And I try to instill that. I try to get them to look at like, where do you live? What does it feel like to you?
Yeah.
How long does it take you to get from home to school? What do you like to do? All those things encompass planning, and they make a decision on where you plan to reside after a while. So usually when I ask people, where do you want to stay? And they just say, I want to stay somewhere fun. And I'm like, is that Bossier City? And they're like, I just get crickets. Yeah. And so that means that I have a problem and that I need to make some changes.
Yeah. Yeah. And I would imagine that, for the longest time, this wasn't even thing people thought about, right? City developers are like, oh, you have money, you want to put it here?
Yes.
You pick the place.
Yes.
And then it's like, because I remember reading this article probably 10 years ago. It's like, they won't let Chick-fil-A's be in the front of developments anymore because of the traffic flow.
Right.
Well, I never even thought of that, right? Because I was like, you put them everywhere because it's popular,
Yeah.
And so you just don't think about it.
The Chick-fil-A's, the Southern Classics, the 7 Brews.
Oh, yeah.
They are our large traffic generators, and we have to be very strategic about where we place those because that impacts traffic. Anytime that they develop in an area, they have to have a traffic impact analysis to see how it's going to affect the current traffic and what they can do to alleviate the traffic that they generate from their sites.
But good news, Bossier doesn't have any traffic problems. So, that's good news.
We figured congestion is a time for you to figure out what's going on.
That's when I know how old I am. I'm like, why would they do both of these projects at the same time? Why would they do it on the same street?
We get those questions a lot.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure you do.
And, federal dollars, they move at the speed of government. I mean, we asked for money 5-10 years ago, and they're like, okay, now we're going to let this project at the same time you're going to do your project. And we're like, well, we have to have it, or they'll just move the money somewhere else.
Yeah. So let me understand something here from you, because as you're talking about the federal now, so there is Bossier City, right? So would you call that municipal, I guess?
Yes.
There's Bossier Parish.
Correct.
Right.
Which is massive.
Right. And then you've got Louisiana.
Yes.
And then you've got the federal government.
Yes.
Are you dealing with all 4 of those entities?
Yes.
Whoa.
Yes.
Cow.
How has the shutdown affected you?
It has not. It has affected my communication with the staff at Barksdale. There's a part of our district that is regulated by an overlay, which is our flight path, which goes into the air accident potential zone. Because we have B-52s housed here, there is a portion of our area that is overlaid with an accident potential zone. Because if something were to happen, I mean, they are man-made and there are men flying those things. Things
They're like
could
60-year-old
happen.
airplanes too.
Yes, things could happen. And so we want to reduce the amount of density types of businesses in those areas, just in case something happens in those areas. So that has affected development in those areas. If we have a tenant that is willing to put money into those areas, I can't get that input I need because a lot of those folks have been furloughed.
Yeah. So when we think about the state, right, my understanding is that we are, I don't want to say the stepchild, but ultimately, because of the seat of government is down south,
it is
that we are maybe a little removed from the action, so to speak. Do you find that when it comes to state allocation that we're usually not the first in line? What's that like?
That is a true statement. And we're usually last, being Northwest Louisiana. Usually the bite of the apple, the biggest bite goes to our southern components down south, our New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. They're the ones that usually get the bulk of the funding. But because we're a small community, we actually have to lean on Shreveport for demographic numbers. And that hurts us and helps us in certain areas. But we also learned in our office that we're not even asking for the money. And that's a problem.
Who would be asking?
Well, now it's me. So we were looking, I mean, as we continue with inflation, like anything else, when it comes down to community repairs, panel replacement, street repairs, infrastructure, we're finding that the general ad valorem tax is not covering all of those repairs. And so we need to start looking at alternative funds. And so if you think about the Crouch Road Swan Lake extension, we asked for that money in 2008. I mean, here it is 2025 and it's just now complete. Those are the things that we have to start asking for now, because it's just going to take a while for us to get those funds.
Well, even like I-20, right? Were you part of that? But like that money, I mean, that project, I've been hearing that project since I was in high school.
It started before me.
Yeah.
So I wasn't even privy to all the action that was happening behind the scenes to get that project underway. So yeah, we have to start asking now. We have to do planning now in order to get those funds. So that's what we're working on now, actually. Yeah. If I could go into the comprehensive plan portion of what we're doing, the last time we did a comprehensive plan, which is more like, hey, Bossier City, Bossier Parish, how do we want to grow? What do we need now going into the next 10 or 15 years? What does that look like? I mean, what community or quality of life aspects do we need to encompass here? What new connections, road connections do we need to have to move our traffic and our goods? I think most of the traffic now, we feel it on Airline. We feel it on all our major arterials, Airline, Benton, Barksdale. What do we need to do to get some relief there? Because our community is constantly growing. People still want to move here. I mean, people want to come back and retire here, but that is one of the large complaints that we get is congestion. So yeah, long range planning is what I call it. And that's what we have to start looking at now.
Yeah. So there's the local municipal parish funding that comes from taxation, right?
Correct.
So you have a budget allocated to that.
Yes.
And then you have projects that would go beyond that would require state funding.
Yes.
And then even beyond that on some level to federal funding.
Yes.
You mentioned that we are tied to Shreveport, for all the reasons, but
yes.
Ultimately, is it because that the MSA as a whole is showing decline in overall population that hurts us a little bit? Is that, because you'll say the MSA is down, 2-3%, whatever.
It is.
It's not going up, it's going down. Is that what's hurting us?
our side, we're just a smaller community. And when we're smaller, we have to fight a little harder for the funds because the bigger communities are yelling, well, we're growing. We're the ones that need the money. And so when we use Shreveport numbers, it still helps us as a whole, but we're just a smaller community. So we just have to fight a little harder for the funds.
Yeah, because, both of us are really tied to housing starts. Our business is really tied to housing starts. Mm-hmm. And so I was looking at some data for Q2 this year where I'm in a group with some people in Savannah, Georgia, and Huntsville, Alabama, dynamic markets, but similar size, right? They're not just way bigger than us. Yeah. Our starts, I want to say it was 458 Q2, and this is the MSA, right? Mm-hmm. And so theirs were both over 2,000. Lafayette just absolutely crushed us in Q2 starts, and they're smaller, right? Mm-hmm. And so it's stuff like that makes you go, what? Why are those markets just crushing it with those starts, whereas we struggle a little bit more with that? What do you think is kind of behind some of that?
Well, I was just going to ask you the same question. What did you find out? I know from a local level, especially in North Bossier, as you go into the Benton area, we've had to redesign our infrastructure output, meaning that when builders and developers come into our community, it may be a little bit more expensive because what we're discovering again is the life of concrete, you may get 20 to 25 years out of it. And then after that, it's on the entity, the municipality to upkeep that. But at the same time, we have rising water tables, which is washing out our infrastructure underneath. We're getting sinkholes in places. And so we're just trying to figure out what we can do. But with that added cost, then property just moves a little bit slower, especially. And then we have higher interest rates, which actually I think is tinkering down a little bit, which should help. But with the rising development costs, we're seeing slower starts on our new residential development.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And those would manifest in just different, what would you say, taxes on projects like that?
It would, yes.
Yeah. Or additional requirements, right?
Yes.
Yeah. What are some of those that have just come on in your time in terms of requirements? We're getting way in the weeds now, but.
Yeah. as far as requirements go, we have grown so much. I mean, it's just added red tape. And of course, we want to move at the speed of business, right? We want to move at the speed of business, but we want to make sure that we're not, kicking ourselves down the line to make sure we're not getting an asset that we just can't maintain. So with the we're moving from asphalt streets to concrete streets. They may have to be 6 or 7 inches thick with 6 inches of rock underneath, whereas we didn't require that before. We're requiring wider streets, wider lots.
Sidewalks. That's a big one.
That has come up most often post-COVID. I think a lot of people didn't even think about it before that. But when we were all locked in and wanted to go outside, there weren't any sidewalks.
You think of the East Bank District, and where else is there like a walkable community in Bossier? There really isn't much,
Yeah.
Sidewalks has become very important as a micro mobility component. A lot of our communities or the older communities have higher disability rates, which means that they're not car drivers, which means that they need the pathways to get to the grocery stores, to ride the bus, to be able to get their standard needs accomplished by walking and or by biking, which I believe we are missing that element here in our area.
Well, and you see this a lot in Shreveport, like they're going to get there.
Yeah.
They're going to be on the side of the road in their little motorized scooter, and you're just like, "What is this person doing?"
And it's really scary. It's really scary as a car driver. I mean, I have to, but for it comes with anxiety too, because if you're on a bike and you're trying to navigate through a car predominant area, I've just seen a lot of devastating issues with that, fatalities even with our walkers. So we need to improve on that as well. And of course, whenever we go to our government about it, sidewalks don't make us money, but it is a quality of life component that we need for that demographic.
Yeah. So concrete's a big one though, right?
It is huge.
Shift.
And that's expensive.
Yeah.
I mean, what's the cost for concrete versus asphalt?
It's more expensive.
It's more expensive.
Yeah.
But so then that's what it goes back into that development thing. It's like, okay, well, now I have to put a sidewalk into the neighborhood I'm doing, right? I know water and sewage is always a big deal in Bossier. And so, it's just a lot of...
It's that extra. And I think Bossier is growing to the point where they want a different type of housing product. And our community wants a different type of housing product. We're very isolated. So we have our larger communities that are acre lots, and then we have our smaller communities that are more your 6,000, 5,000 square foot home lots. But we're seeing a lot of demand for multi-generational housing, which means, I may want an acre, but my mom wants to live close and she just may want a 6,000 square foot home. And then if she gets to retirement age and that's too much, she may want a townhome, and they want to be all in the same community. And that's what we're seeing a push for with a lot of our newer residential development. They don't want all this separation, which causes driving and sprawl. But they want to all be in the same community and be able to move within that area and have amenities. Have a park, have walking trails. If it's a larger community, they may want to have horses. I mean, there's a lot of mixed use requests that we're seeing now. It's trending.
Interesting.
Very interesting.
Multi-generational.
When I had talked to you, or maybe 6 months ago, you said there was actually a hold on some developments, right?
Yes. We were receiving a lot of the same requests in certain areas. And so I think the parish administration at that point was like, hey, wait a minute, we're not really getting a lot of diverse type homes in the area, and we really need to accommodate the people that are up here. And so we kind of just put a pause on development for a while to give us time to research what was missing. And we call it the missing middle, which is townhome development, which we don't have a whole lot of. I think the only ones we had were kind of in the Green Acres area. And then there's some down south off of Golden Meadows, but that's it. Yeah. And so they're either having to move their mom in a shed in the back, or they're putting them in, assisted living housing, but they want alternative options. And we just didn't have that. And that's something that we're building towards. So we've removed the moratorium, but now we're looking at more, I guess, transit-oriented or traditional housing for our area to see what we can do in those areas.
So if someone proposes a plan and it gets to your desk, you're going back to them and saying, you actually need to put this on the development as well.
This is missing. You need to turn this here, move this there, put this street there, and maybe even incorporate a little commercial. I mean, let's make it walkable. Why do I have to drive to go get my eggs 30 minutes? Why can't I just go down the street and get a sandwich and, it just reduces that car component and tries to go back to the traditional neighborhood developments that we're used to. Where are porches? Yeah. That was that community component that we had back in the day where everybody had a porch. Yeah. You could see them out front. Yeah. We don't have that anymore. Yeah. And so we're just trying to get back to that community centralized feel that we're missing.
Interesting.
I like it. What do you think of the Bigsby roundabouts?
I'm okay with roundabouts. Yeah. I mostly think I do them. I'm a 4 out of 5 star on the roundabout.
your skill level,
my skill level.
Yeah. Most of the anxiety is from trusting the other people.
Well, you're always kind of thinking, do they know? Are they looking out? Or you're kind of trying to think for the other person.
Yeah. Well, Carlotta, we had a whole dialogue about this 5 years ago, and she's like, "Oh yeah, roundabouts. That's the way to go. Roundabouts. No more traffic lights." So the statues wherever they put in the middle should have Carlotta on them. That's where I'm getting at.
No,
just do this.
No, I don't. You're so funny.
But what's funny is I never even thought of it until that conversation, and then we go on family vacation every year. And now I go to these states like Arizona. I mean, they had one every mile.
Sedona.
It was crazy between Phoenix and Sedona. It was like literally every mile, but you never stop. I mean, and the traffic tends to stay slow, and just keep going.
I think it's a culture thing, right? Like if we're all used to it, we're all comfortable with it. I think it works.
Carter is he's like, I've gone through it twice, and both times I've got honked at.
He's driving.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I'm like, okay, buddy. Well, we've already taken off on his Waze app where we avoid freeways, so he doesn't get on the interstate.
Oh, that's smart.
Now we need to avoid roundabouts.
That's smart. I'm dreading the day where my daughter has to drive to school.
Where you live,
so bad.
It would take her 5 hours to get to Bossier if she didn't take interstate.
She'd be on a boat. Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
well,
exactly.
just like you stated, roundabouts are what move traffic. If you think about stoplights, what do they do?
Oh, just that little section has cut my time in half almost. I mean, I'm getting from the East Bank to Benton in 20 to 25 minutes when it was taking me 40.
Yeah.
So,
and people are, they'll say, we just need a stop sign.
And the trains.
They were here first.
The train, is that what they say?
And that's why Walter O'Bigby took as long as it takes, because having to communicate with them is like years.
Yeah.
Hey, we want to do this project. Oh, we'll get back to you in 9 months. And oh, we didn't like what you did. We'll get back to you in another 9 months. I mean, dealing with that community is just definitely different. But they say, we were here first. You built around us. That's your problem.
Yeah. Yeah. So. Interesting.
Well, and so I'm so curious, and if we can just pan back really far over this area. And Bossier, you call Bossier home, I guess, ultimately.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. So for you, this is great, because we always ask the question of like, if you could change anything to all of our guests. Like you're like a very good person to ask this question to. But ultimately, what is the grand vision for, let's just call it Bossier right now? Like, how would you describe it to somebody if I came in, sat down and said, I'm coming from, Ohio. I'm thinking about bringing my business here. Why should I pick Bossier? Like, what's the grand vision? Like, what do you see?
That is a terrible question to ask me, because I am tainted. I travel just like you do, and I see all these great things other cities are doing. And I'm like, well, will that work here? Is our culture ready for that? I'm a little complex in that area. I think we can do better. Development wise, but it takes everybody. It takes our local government. It takes our constituents. It takes people that have passion and drive to figure out what that happy medium is. So I'm still undeciding on what that is for Bossier, because we're still growing, and with that elevation, I'm just trying to figure out where we need to go with that, especially on a national level.
And I would say that you think of Shreveport-Bossier as a whole, and of course I grew up here, but it's always kind of been, there's a missing identity.
That is a fact.
For just our whole area. I mean, most people would say, oh, you're like a miniature Dallas. But we know that's not really
We're
the
definitely
case,
not that.
Not that.
And we're not New Orleans.
We're not Cajun. Right. Yeah.
That's right.
So, I mean, it is kind of like this, but it's such an awesome location. And we have so many good, and we're so close and connected to all these great places, Well,
we've talked about it 100 times. Even our traffic pales in comparison.
It does.
To Dallas.
We complain, but it's nothing like Atlanta or Dallas traffic.
Yeah. No. Or Houston. Right. It's so bad.
Right.
So
I think the identity piece is what we are hoping to achieve with this next visionary master plan, comprehensive plan development. What are we? What do we look like? Who are we? We're evolving. We have a new council that is very advantageous on, just trying to come up with the identity and making sure Bossier looks good. We have a much needed upscale and score when it comes down to aesthetic. When people travel here, the first thing they say is, man, it's dirty. Man, it's dirty. And that's coming from out of the Shreveport airport to the interstates.
Oh, yeah. Well, I think of that all the time.
Coming
people flying into Shreveport, the first things they see.
Yes. It makes an impact. It makes a difference. And so all of those components we need to work on in general. And that's with our commercial development as well. I mean, we understand that some of the smaller scale development may need variances and things, but we need to look at what that looks like, because once a building is constructed, it's there for at least 20 years. And we need to make sure that that's something, the vision and the aesthetic that Bossier is going for.
Yeah, we talked about that some with Mike McSwain when he was on.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, big on that.
Mike draws pictures.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Here's the road.
Yeah, he's a wonderful architect. We work with him long range.
Yeah.
He was very essential in the East Bank district.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. So is it the council that is on the big planning session? Is that who comes together to kind of help build out the vision, or who's that?
It is going to be everyone. Actually, we interviewed consultants last week. We interviewed half CSRS and a new company called Desire Line to talk about our goals for Bossier City, Bossier Parish. So it will be everyone. Once we pick a consultant, which we're supposed to do tomorrow, actually, and then make that announcement on November 10th, then we will start coming in with our elected officials, our stakeholders in the community, and say, hey, what do we want to look like? How do we want to grow? We have to look at what's happening in other cities too. Shreveport did something very awesome, and they removed parking minimums.
I saw that.
That's very progressive.
Like this week.
Yeah. I'm very impressed with that. And that just means, hey, if you want to build a business, you get to decide what the parking is.
Well, and it's impressive for Shreveport because as a business owner, Shreveport's always been harder to work with. It's been like, here's the 10 people you get to go talk to and pull permits and pay their office to get your business. It's going to take you 6 months. Yeah. And then doing that in Bossier was way more streamlined.
And we're still working on that. We get it from the federal government all the time. There are larger businesses and corporations that want to move here, but they're just like, this red tape is something else.
Really?
We need to start moving at the speed of business and less at the government level. And we're just trying to figure out what that looks like because we still want to be competent in what we do and make sure it's a good product. But moving faster so that we're able to compete regionally is a big deal.
When you say compete regionally, you mean for those businesses coming in?
Yes, because when businesses on the economic development scale, the bigger businesses, it's almost like you have to entice them to come here. They look at Bossier, they may look at Arkansas, they may look at Mississippi and say, hey, what are you guys offering us here? And so then we have to say, okay, we can give you this, maybe this abatement, maybe we can expedite your permits. It's all of those things to be able to compete.
So if we have lost recently, do they give you feedback? Do they come back and say, hey, you were great, but this?
They will. They typically do. And sometimes it is the location of the property. They want to be interstate oriented and be able to have larger truck traffic, be able to come in and out quickly. Sometimes it's our proximity to a regional airport, which, that's on the Shreveport side. And then the inner city connectors that we have, they just don't want to dump all the heavy industrial traffic on our already stressed streets. And I don't think Bossier residents would want that either. And so then they look for other areas to go to. So it's our utility rates are awesome. They're low. And that's usually an attraction when businesses come here. They're like, oh, man, this is low. I mean, the overhead would be great. But when they look at all these other parts to see how it would fit, sometimes we're just not a good fit. And that's okay.
Yeah. How did we lose Buc-ee's? That's what I want to know. That's the big question. How did Ruston get Buc-ee's and we didn't get it?
I was going to say, are we like, is Ruston and Monroe, we got to be like.
Yeah. I mean, how does Ruston get Buc-ee's?
North Louisiana. We got to be at the top of the stack, right?
I will. I know somebody there. I'll get you some information.
Hey, look, I'm like, hey, we'd have nothing to do this Saturday. Let's just drive to Buc-ee's. Let's go get some Nuggies. It's a destination.
A very expensive trap is what it is.
It's great. But, that would have been nice. I mean, that probably wouldn't have helped our traffic much, but,
Yes.
It would have been nice to have.
And as we evolve, I think that's something that we're also coming to terms with is that transportation, warehousing, distribution is becoming a large component of who we are. And what does that look like traffic wise? Because everybody buys their Christmas online, right? Everybody's Amazon. I don't know how many boxes I got this week. It's just what's transitioning in our area. And we have to we just have to figure out how we can accommodate that. With what we have now.
Well, you mentioned Shreveport. What is that relationship like? I mean, is there a close relationship? Is it between like the two mayors, or is it like you're talking to their city planners?
Yes, we have a good relationship. When I first got here, we started a bowling contest because we just, there was just, to me, it was bad synergy there. And I just didn't understand why. I was like, why is this even here? So we started a bowling competition where we would get to know their planners. They would get to know ours. And I have a good relationship with the current director that's there. And what we try to do, we try to mirror our ordinances, but the administration sometimes want something a little different because we know people work in between both communities, and we try to make the regulations kind of be the same, but that's not always the case. But we have a good working relationship despite what some may think.
Yeah. And we mentioned that with Chris, actually was just on our last podcast, but this kind of us versus them with Shreveport and Bossier is like we both have to we need each other to
we
succeed.
need each other to succeed. We absolutely do. We absolutely do.
Well, it's so fascinating hearing you talk. And look, I think I could ask you questions for hours because it's so interesting. But really, it's things that none of us notice. I always think about economic engines. For us, we have the base and, we have some energy and then there's casino and that kind of thing. But, when you look at those other markets, let's say it's Huntsville, it's like now it's all like military contracting. It's like high end stuff of that's coming in now that's just exploding that place. Or Savannah, it's the port. And they just got this Hyundai like e-vehicle thing that's honestly the biggest factory I've ever seen in my life. It is so big. And so, but when you think about we are getting passed over by some of these opportunities, and it's because of these reasons. It's not the reasons that we think they're skipping over us. Right. Because we think it's like, oh, Shreveport-Bossier, woe is me. No, it's like, well, no, these are very fundamental issues they are passing us over on.
Yes.
And how do we actually go to work on those?
Yes.
That's what's interesting.
Yes.
And it would take Shreveport together.
Absolutely.
To do it, right?
It would absolutely take that. And we have an MPO, Metropolitan Planning Organization, where we actually come together with Blanchard and DeSoto Parish and Shreveport, and we all sit down together and say, hey, what do we need to do to make us more feasible for these larger projects? Because that's what they're looking for. Do we want to become a hub like Atlanta and Memphis? Do we need more interstate connectors for transportation of goods? Like, we actually sit down and talk to everyone about the bigger picture. So those discussions do happen, and they don't happen fast. And I know a lot of people get frustrated with the process, but when we're working with the federal government and with other entities, I mean, the time is just the time it takes.
Yeah,
and we're
slow.
Yeah.
Now, do you find there's a cultural element to it as well? In other words, I would imagine that, the folks in Bossier are probably a little bit more traditional in what they're looking for. Maybe there's some folks in Shreveport that are a little bit more, I don't say progressive, but I mean like forward leaning. Do you see tension between those two sides in that? I
think the needs base is different. And that's where our friction comes in. It's just our needs base is different on all sides, on all facets of each parish. Everybody's needs are different.
Yeah, and then who knows what Blanchard wants or Stonewall wants or,
And then we have to sit there and fight over who's most important for these dollars. So it's just like Bossier wants it, but Shreveport, well, we really need it. Well, Bossier, we really need it too. And so those conversations happen a lot.
Yeah. So your business is in 3 parishes.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Have you ever analyzed and is there anything blaring? Is like, wow, it's easier to do this than this and this?
Well, no, I've just seen changes over the years. So when I grew up, there was a big shift from Mansfield to Stonewall, and it feels like now all the power in DeSoto Parish has now moved to Stonewall, where it was Mansfield when I was a kid.
Okay.
So that's just like a generation shift. And, I think we've seen it too with Benton. Benton's just seems like they've become more important in what they do. Blanchard, we just put a business in Blanchard a year ago, but we had a business in Halton for 10 years. Halton is also kind of feels like it's...
You're on Highway 80, right?
Right. And they became their own MPC, right? Did Halton develop?
They did. They did.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So it seems like there's been just some general shifts in the area, but ultimately, look, it's all Shreveport-Bossier. That's the hub. That's what drives the bus, and again, if we can get more complexity in our economic engine where it's not so allocated to just a few buckets, I think we're going to be way better for the long run.
I agree.
But anybody with an energy economy has to deal with this at some point, right? Yes. They all have to figure it out. How do you transition from what has been the horse you're riding to, a sustainable future? And, thank God for the base, right? It's a beautiful thing. The casinos, just personally, I'm kind of a mixed take on that. But ultimately, how do we build the next generation of sustainable economic engine? How are we going to do that? What's it going to be? And when you look at some of the other cities in the South in particular that are thriving now, maybe it's to your point of like, okay, what are they doing? How are they doing it? Because I think people want to be in the South. It's crazy as it sounds. The pandemic showed us that, right?
Yeah, this is true. Sustainability is a big word, and I throw it around a lot. Smart growth is another one. And a lot of those components will be what we'll need going forward with our new comprehensive plan to see what we want to do. Who do we want to be? Who are we?
You made a point when I heard you talk last time. You were talking about how we complain about all the Mexican restaurants. Mm-hmm. However, you said that that group of people is the only ones that are sustaining a birth rate.
They are. And I'm
it's
just
crazy to think about when you think long term. And we've actually brought that up on the podcast before, but that's just crazy to think about. Yeah,
we get that complaint all the time. It's like, you keep approving these Mexican restaurants. And I'm like, but who's eating the chips?
Yeah.
I mean, that there's a need for it or else they wouldn't come here, or there's a desire for it or else they wouldn't come here. But right now that's actually kind of stalled a little bit. And what we got right now is barbecue.
Oh yeah. Thank goodness.
Yeah.
Finally.
Barbecue is king right now. So they're at the top of the food chain. So we have Naaman's that just recently opened. The Smokehouse Market, which is the old Flying Burger, just opened.
Yes. Yeah, I've been wondering so long. I grew up and I'm like, all we had was Podnas.
Yeah,
and there's a new Podnas in Stonewall. Okay,
or my dad would call it Partners, but look, and there's a time and place for Podnas.
Absolutely.
But that was our only choice growing up.
That's right.
And so it's nice to see some more barbecue coming in.
Oh, I'm so excited.
Yeah,
I'm so excited.
There's another restaurant called Silos. That's a barbecue place that just opened. So
where's that at?
This is the old Habacu's on Old Menden.
Okay.
Yeah.
So one of the things I love with my friendship with Carlotta is anytime I see dirt move anywhere, I'm like, take a picture. What is this? And she's like, it's just a sewage repair. I'm like, come in.
Yeah. You're getting excited.
Yeah.
I thought it was Trader Joe's.
Yeah. Come on.
That's the most common. Costco and Trader Joe's are the most common requests that we get.
That's funny. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, and you think of Louisiana, I think there is Trader Joe's in all the other cities in Louisiana, maybe, but maybe not.
I don't know. There's plenty of land on the airline, right?
Yes. We missed the Buc-ee's.
We could fit some in.
Yeah. Look, we missed on Buc-ee's. Could we at least get like a Texas Best? Can we get something? Yeah, a lesser than Buc-ee's, something.
Oh my goodness.
No. So let's talk about that. What is that you can talk about, or you may be able to name some names. Maybe you can give us an idea of what's coming in. Obviously, there are some we know, like the pickleball place coming to the boardwalk, which is anything coming to the boardwalk is good at this point.
Yes. That asset we have been very concerned about. So, adding the pickleball there along with Simple Church has, going to increase some traffic down there. So we're very excited about that. And we anticipate with those in tenants coming that, we'll have some other businesses come. So hopefully so. So Shipley's Donuts is coming to Bossier City, Bossier Parish.
So that's what Laurie grew up on. And, we've had a long fight in our marriage about Southern Made versus Shipley. But to me, there's no compare. I mean, there's no. And I'm glad Shipley's coming.
Sure.
I'm sure he's a great guy. Mr. Shipley's a great guy.
Look, I'll eat the donuts. There's no question. But it's like that Johnny's thing. It's like that Johnny's thing.
Well, I grew up on Krispy Kreme. So the Southern Made just wasn't quite cutting it in our house either.
So you love sugar, obviously. I mean, they're going to hit you with sugar.
So Shipley's, all right. Shipley's, where's that coming to?
So that's going to come right there by Zaxby's at Benton and East Texas.
Okay.
So
right on my way to work.
There's a little small area there for them. So we've carved out for them. So they'll be there. Rubber Boot has decided to locate in Bossier City. So they are coming as well.
Less fighting in their line.
Well,
that's the guy, dude. We were like, we got to have him on the podcast because he fights with the customers on there. Oh my gosh, it's so funny.
Rubber Boot is also a traffic generator, so we're going to have to make sure that they.
Where are they going to be at?
Let's see here. If you're going south on the airline, it's an old gas station that they sold cars and It's Baker's Auto, I think, is on the other side.
Kind of is that by Southern Classic, right?
Yeah, it's on the way. Yeah, yes, right over in there. Yeah. So right.
Also close to my office. Okay.
There's some other things in the works that I can't necessarily disclose, but I'm happy to say that people are still interested in Bossier. The conversations that I'm having now will come to term in the next 2 years. That's typically how long it takes to develop something. Like I'm working on a project now. Actually, it's midway through the project, but we started on it in 2020 actually. And so they're just now turning dirt. But people don't understand that. I was just like, there's a million steps with the development. Before they even come to me, they're at the bank. And then they come to me, and my process may take 6 months. And then they go back to the bank for the development portion of it. And that may take 2 years. And they're just like, why does it take so long? I'm just like, all these pieces, parts marry together to make a project happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I did notice that the newer neighborhood in Bossier, North Bossier, is it on Wimple? Or is it?
We have
I passed by it today.
The one across from Brookshire's right there, Folia. So that is a newer traditional neighborhood design. You could kind of, I guess, the remnants of Provenance over in Shreveport. It'll kind of be like that. That is a newer neighborhood that we're really excited about it. They hired a planner, I believe, out of Atlanta. To design that neighborhood, and that's going to be awesome. I'm really excited about that one.
Mixed types housing, mixed use, commercial restaurants.
It will have like a city center, kind of like a. It's going to be awesome. We're really excited about that development. I know a lot of people are not. A lot of people just get used to what it is. You know, they like to see the cows. Yeah. You know, and they're just like, what happened to the cows? And we're just like, well, development happens. And then there's another like development off Kingston. So the park, which is a similar type development that'll happen up there in the Benton area.
Similar setup and layout.
Similar setup, layout, type of home, mixed use.
And that's what you were talking about earlier. Is just we want to see some variation in this design.
We're very traditional. I mean, like I said, just very, you know, this type of house, this type of subdivision, but we're getting into that mixed use development type now. We're evolving.
I like it. So we've talked about the the wood mill out in Plain Dealing before. Do you know it sold recently?
It did, and they're wanting to expand
to like a foreign. It was like an Asian country.
Yeah, it's just a lot of consolidation in space.
And they're looking to expand.
And do you think, I mean, isn't that just kind of natural? Like the guys, the people that are saying, where are all the cows? Where are the cows? It's just going to naturally just keep moving.
It is. North Bossier and Houghton, actually, because that's where all the land is. Bossier, if you think about it, is pretty much developed out for the most part. And the only way for us to start growing again is to make these street connections and connect communities and open up land that is landlocked right now.
Yes.
But we do have a lot of wetlands issues.
Well, that's what I was going to, whenever I the Swan Lake extension, of course, my mind's like, well, I'm going to start buying up that land. It's going to be worth something. And then I look and it's all in the flood zone. I'm like,
Wetland mitigation is tough. And the dirt is something different. That's a whole nother battle. If it's really sandy, then it's a bad development.
What about, I do see, obviously I see a lot more in Shreveport, but I also in Bossier, there are some areas where it's just buildings that aren't being used. Is there, I mean, how do you get that? How do you make it easy for property, or even I think through this? So like we play Little League Baseball in Benton. We have 4 fields, no government help. It's all ran by the people. And then you have just so many baseball complexes in Bossier that aren't used at all. Right. So it's just kind of like, I don't know. So like, what can we do to make more use of this land and development just sitting there?
It's expensive. And again, that happens with inflation, like the old Albertsons that's over there that's been vacant for a while. I mean, we've had lots of people look at it, but it's just so expensive to turn it around. We're looking at brownfield improvements, like what we can do on the administration side to help or assist in these areas, because they'll just appreciate over time. I always say they'll go back to earth if nobody gets into them. And so we're looking at things that we can do to assist there. We're also looking at it from an aesthetic standpoint as well, because sometimes these vacant buildings just become, they're dilapidated. They can become that way, or the landlord just, hey, it's not leased out. I mean, it is what it is. We're looking at ways to help alleviate that, because that affects, what we look like, all of it. There's some buildings in the East Bank district that we're trying to evaluate to see what we can do there to make sure that the owner make him more responsible for that piece of property. Because sometimes they'll just sit on it. It's an investment, or maybe it's a write-off, and they just don't do anything with it. And what does that do to our community? And so we have a lot, because property is cheaper here. It doesn't seem cheap to us, but people coming from California and Florida, $1 million is like, oh shoot, give me 2 of those. So sometimes they'll make the investment and they'll sit on it for years and it'll just sit there and just continue to depreciate. So that's something also that we're looking at to figure out what we can do with our vacant structures and how we can make the property owner accountable for those structures. Because, we do have a homeless population and they find what they find. And usually in the winter times, that's when you have your fires because they're trying to stay warm and they get in these places.
Yeah. This happened to some of my houses.
Really?
Yeah, I had a duplex burn down. So someone went and squatted in the top and just started a fire in the living room. So,
Wow. Was that in Bossier?
In Shreveport.
Yeah, you wouldn't turn the heat on.
Yeah.
It's kind of on you, man.
Yeah.
I didn't know they were there. So cool. Awesome.
So good.
Good stuff. Yeah. I could ask so many questions.
I know.
Yeah.
But you've been so gracious with your time to come down here and just talk about this stuff. It is so interesting. This podcast for us is about shining the light on the people in our area that are doing great things. We want to be obviously positive about where we live. Well, talked about birth rate earlier, but we want to be positive about this area, and we want to all recognize that it's up to us, and we're the you said stakeholders earlier.
We are.
It's us. Yeah. It's us.
And sometimes we don't give ourselves enough credit. I mean, we'll go to places and be like, Bossier's not this or it's not that. But we have a lot of good things here. We have tourism. I mean, a lot of people don't know that. And that's another component that we're trying to grow. We have lakes. I mean, come on. Oh, yeah. We have lots of amenities that a lot of communities don't have that we need to hone in on. And that's another focus of ours as well. Tourism is big, even with our East Bank and our breweries, casinos. I know you feel a little but we have to hone in on our assets. And that's something that we're going to lean in hard on.
Yeah.
Well, look, Shreveport got 50 Cent. Who could we go after?
Let's
throw out some artists. We need we need somebody.
50 Cent. Who could we get?
Well, I think we'd probably be like a Kid Rock vibe over Bossier.
I take it.
Kid Rock.
I bet Kid Rock and 50 Cent would work together.
I think they would. Yeah,
I really do.
They could do a concert on the bridge.
That's right.
Oh yeah, bringing bridge in the community.
Yeah, there you go.
I like it. I like it.
I think
you heard it here first.
That's we're making the pitch right now. Kid Rock, come on. What is he, Nashville or something?
He's in
I
Nashville.
So. Yeah.
Nashville's full. They don't need anything.
Look,
yes.
They're just like, please don't come here.
I know.
We're booked. We're busy. Just come and tour and leave. But Nashville is up and coming too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We have some questions we ask.
We do.
Yeah. We're going to put you on the spot. So
now we did already ask the one about if you had the magic wand, what could you change? Do you feel pretty good about your answer on that?
I do.
Okay. How about this? Best local meal you've had lately?
Best local meal. I've been frequenting Live lately. Prime has actually been really good. Yeah.
I haven't been yet.
Oh, well, this weekend if you're free.
Yeah, okay.
But I like to go to all the new spots because I'm a foodie. Yeah. That's what I do when I travel. I'm like, oh, this is fun stuff for you, but we're going to go to eat immediately after that here. Yes. And so I try to visit. I like ramen, but for me, Prime has hit the spot lately because I can get my steak, I can get my oysters, I can get my appetizers. And then sometimes they'll have cool music and now I can go hang out. So it's a whole vibe for me, really. It's the food, it's the entertainment aspect of it as well. So I can do it all in one spot versus having to travel and drive, to entertainment after the fact.
Yeah. That's a great answer. Okay. So Prime, we got to check that out.
Yes. Check it out.
We have to go check that out. Okay. So what are you excited about in the future? Could be anything, personally, professionally, anything.
So I will say, just at the city council level, I am very excited about this administration. They have lots of energy, and that's a good thing for me. Because whereas before I'd have to sit on my ideas a little bit, I think they're just like, give them to me. And I'm like, yes, this is what I want, and so they're listening to our ideas. We can do more sexy projects versus the rudimentary stuff that we typically do, which is our current planning, which is permits and zoning, which is all good stuff. But we get to create more in our office, just since June. They're just like, hey, tell me what the problems are. What can we do? And then we also hear from our business community that sometimes starting a business isn't as straightforward as it should be. And so we're going to work on getting that communication out. But I just think having an administration that supports you and supports your ideals for your office, it just invigorates us to want to do more and do better. So for me, in that aspect, that has been an awesome trend.
You don't see that much in government.
No,
right? So.
no. And sometimes when they come in, they'll ask me, hey, Carlotta, what do you need? And I'm just like, I just need support, because a lot of what I do is ordinance and regulation, and it's also enforcement. It is enforcement. So if you want all these great fancy things, then you have to allow me to enforce the great and fancy things. It's not always the fun part of the job, but it's necessary. Yeah, it's necessary. So it's been really good so far. Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna throw a bonus one out there.
Yep.
Because I imagine that in your work you go and travel and see other things, right? What are some of the places or things that you've seen lately, I guess in the last 5 years, that had really interested you, that made you go, oh, wow, I like that. What have you seen out there? Or maybe you never leave Bossier. I don't know.
Well, no, I'm out. I do travel every now and then. I do like the idea of form-based code. I do like when I travel, I have to make sure I travel with the right set of friends, because I'm out here taking pictures of the street. I'm rubbing walls, and I'm like, man, what is this? This is nice. Is this velvet? And so I am taking pictures of sidewalks, taking pictures of bike trails, just trying to figure out how we can incorporate those things here. So it doesn't seem like it's a lot, but when I see different products used in different areas, I look at how I can revise our codes to make sure that we incorporate some of these cool things. Yeah. A lot of our developers are just creatures of habit. They want to use mega rib panels, that's all they want to use unless we introduce a different product. So when I travel, I look at architecture. I look at just byways, pathways. That's really my interest right now. Even billboards. When you go to bigger cities, they have mobile billboards. The ones that are on trucks that are driving by, they have those. Just lots of cool things. And so for me, it's the small stuff that makes a big difference, but it's also the most expensive stuff, because it also has to do with infrastructure. And anything I add to architecture from a business community side adds cost to that property owner. So I have to be cognizant of that too.
Yeah. So. Yeah, absolutely. Great stuff.
I like it.
We got to do sponsors.
So I also have another request. When you would you give us the exclusive right to announce your run for mayor when you do that? Just whenever in the future.
Look, Tommy Chandler, I did not put them up to this. No political position for me.
Did they ever do the term limit thing? Was that a thing? That's been a hot topic.
It has. It passed at one level, but not at another.
Okay.
So I think the conversation is still brewing there for term limits.
Interesting. Oh, one more thing. Mike Johnson, he's from this parish.
Yes.
Have we seen any benefit from that? Or do you think we will?
That's a good question. And I don't know if I like that one. No, I don't really know yet. I haven't seen a direct impact from it at my level, but that doesn't mean it's not things happening.
Cool. All right. Well, anything else?
Maybe we could.
They got to
take out a billboard or
take out a billboard. What was that? What was that billboard? Oh yeah, you started a podcast episode with that billboard.
Whoever paid money for that?
Hey, it's generating money one way or the other. Right. No publicity is bad publicity.
That's what he said. All publicity is good publicity.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
All right, sponsor time.
Oh yeah, dude, we didn't even do our sponsors last episode.
I know.
Golly, well, you start with yours. I got to pull mine up on my notes.
All right. Ivy's Building Materials. Since 1969, we are a locally owned home center, meaning you can go in and buy hardware. You can build a house with our lumber and materials.
I did that.
You can remodel your house. You can replace a roof. You can paint a room, fix a toilet, all those things. We are now in Mansfield, Blanchard, and in Halton on Highway 80.
Yes.
Thanks to Carlotta and her work.
All the parishes covered.
I remember that one.
All the parishes are covered.
That's right. So we're around. You're
around. Yep. I like it. Priority Roofing, locally owned, family ran business specializing in residential commercial roofing, repairs, replacements, no jobs too small. Call them 318 888-202-2123. Man, it's getting harder to see every day. Visit the website, PriorityRoofingLLC.com. I believe Carlotta's used Priority Roofing before.
I have.
Yes.
I have actually on my rental properties.
Yes.
Awesome. Awesome job. Good work. Knocked it out in a day.
Yep. Plumber for Hire, locally owned plumbing company specializing in residential commercial plumbing. They try to get to jobs within 24 hours. They have availability. They have a great team. Call them for plumbing needs, 318-709-9090. Then we have Clint Davis Counseling, helping people make lasting internal change for external growth and success. Call them 318-562-6903.
Great.
Yes, good stuff, Carlotta.
This was awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
She might be like a reoccurring guest. Although it did take us 6 months to get on her schedule.
I was just like, why haven't you invited me? You know?
We can go through the text messages here, okay? I think that we've been inviting you from day one. It's taken a year and a half.
We're going to have to move the studio to Prime, I think, to get it.
So there we go.
I'm there. I'll probably be an hour early. You got to have pregame.
Natural habitat.
And there you go.
Well, I do want to say thank you to Berkshire Hathaway for supporting me for my Athena nomination.
Oh, yeah.
I appreciate that.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yes. And tell me what that nomination is.
It's for women in leadership that excel in their platform.
Yes.
So I was nominated and selected as a nominee, and then there will be an Athena honoree.
That's awesome.
They'll announce it at that event. So thank you so much, Berkshire Hathaway, Layton, Adam. I appreciate y'all for your support.
Absolutely.
Congratulations.
Cool.
Thank you.
It's good stuff.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.